All right, this is another episode of the TED Talk. We keep it going. It's been a bit of a break between the last one and this one, but the reason was we wanted all the MRQ games to be over so we can get at it. And the reason this is a really special one as well is because we're kicking things off with doing interviews with players that are going to be participating at the Austin Major first one, and that's a big pleasure of mine because I've wanted to do this interview for a long time, and I've already interviewed one of his teammates is xfl0ud from Heroic. Uh, Big pleasure. xfl0ud, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. Hello, Ted. How are you guys doing? How are you doing?
I mean, people can't tell you. Well, they can tell you in the comments. Hopefully, everyone's doing all right. I'm doing great. And he's, by the way, I'm just gonna shout out. You're too nice, man. Even when we joined the call, I asked you how are you. You just said I'm good. How are you? And you're asking me back, which no one does. You know, no one asks the interviewer how they're doing. I'm doing great. So I'd say let's get into it. Obviously, you are in a pretty good place right now, but we're gonna talk about Heroic a little bit more later on. The first thing that I want to ask you about, though, because we just had a bit of a chit chat about it. Obviously, it's a cool thing that you just did. Congrats on it before we go into the start of your career. But you just won a LAN event in Mongolia, right? You won the Mesa with Heroic. So, how was that experience? How was Mongolia and Counter Strike? The Middle East has been joining in with trying to create more and more tournaments lately. So, did you enjoy it? How was the entire time for you?
Satisfied what with the results? I mean, right now I cannot tell. Okay, it was the like it was very hard win because there was no good teams in the tournaments because
Okay.
like I think we played against Chingin Warriors. We
Yes.
played against
Big.
Jihao and Big.
Yeah.
So like of course win is a win, but I cannot tell. Okay, we are a very good team right now. So we're gonna test ourselves in Dallas. Really.
Okay, and how was Mongolia as a travel? Was it a unique experience? Was it your first time there? I think it was your first time there, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's my second time in Asia,
Okay,
so it's very like similar to other Asian countries,
sure.
but it's like they need to develop more. They need to improve more. But
Okay,
the thing is, the Mongolia, like we didn't have a lot of time to like travel the country because like if you are a team who got eliminated at the beginning or very early in the state, then you have a lot of time to travel or do
yeah,
whatever you want. But like since we played the final, then we didn't have a lot of time. But like I would say, like I don't like to say good bad things about countries. Then maybe I have enemies, later.
sure.
But what can I say is like Mongolia was very good experience for us. There was some bad things happened. I mean, like technical pauses or like bad pieces, whatever. But it's good story that we will remind each other and we will
Hmm.
always remember. But we are very happy with the results. And yeah, like I mean, if there is one more tournament in Mongolia, like maybe not in coming 3 6 months, but maybe if it's next year, maybe
Yeah.
I'm able to play it.
Nice, nice. Okay, love to hear it. Okay, we're gonna get into things now. I'm gonna drag you a couple years back. Talk to me about the Turkish scene, because obviously you're playing on an international team right now. But even before, because most people know you from Eternal Fire, before you played on Eternal Fire, you started around in the Turkish scene. Obviously, you played on Nine, you played on a couple other teams. Boston is a great name for a Turkish lineup, by the way. I just want to put it out there. So, talk to me a little bit about growing up in the Turkish scene and how is the professional scene in there for young and aspiring players that are not involved in Eternal Fire yet? Like, is it really difficult to actually find mentorship and breakthrough as a player?
I mean, I will say it's not very easy job to play Counter Strike or esport in Turkey,
Okay.
because like there is some like pressure from family or from community, and esport is not an unknown scene. Like no, it's not a known job in Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
so it may a problem. Like you need to put a lot of sacrifices. Like
Sure.
of course, like everyone or from every country, every player puts a lot of sacrifices. But here you need to take more gamble. You need to like there's a lot of risk if you want to continue from Counter Strike because like till my age of 18, like I was playing this game for free. I mean, which is fine. I can still play for free because I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
have passionate about this game. But the thing is, like when you're teenagers are like studying university or they earning some money but or let's say in other games like League of Legends or Valorant, people are earning a lot of money but you are still not getting anything, but you need to keep going because there is labor you put it whole year and like 4 years, then you need to just keep going on. But Counter Strike, like Turkish Counter Strike scene is not very good at the moment because after Valorant, like I don't have a good calculation about it, but let's say if there's 100 players in the scene,
Mm-hmm.
Turkish scene, like 95 of them just switch the game. You know, they switch to
Okay.
Valorant. Like or Valorant counter. I mean, Valorant scene is very big right now. Like I would say, there's a lot of talents. There's a lot of players. You know, and there's a lot of teams and sponsorships, whatever. The ecosystem is very good in Valorant, but in Turkish scene, there's only like one or two teams, maybe like let's say three teams,
Mm-hmm.
trying to improve or trying to be a good team. Like I think Athena Fire have an academy team, and we have Pacific Esports.
Yeah.
So like and I would say maybe Fireflies is not fully Turkish team, but the organization itself is Turkish.
Mm-hmm.
So like there is some good hopes that can maybe in the future, maybe 2025, 2026, maybe they can do some good job here. Hopefully they do because also I'm believing that external fire like Aurora and maybe myself giving them inspiration. We are showing them, okay, like you can see, like you can go tier one, tier two, Counter Strike. You can do this job as a full time. We are
Sure.
showing them this, so maybe that gives them a bit more motivation, which is I am proud.
Sango is investing a lot in Turkish Counter Strike, so Sango is a Turkish organization, isn't it too?
Yeah, the owners are Turkish,
Okay.
but due to some business problems, the organization itself is based in Amsterdam.
Yeah, yeah, but the bottom line is because I do remember that a
Yes,
couple
yes,
years ago
yes.
there was that Sango
Yeah,
team with Logic Man
yeah.
is the name that I
And
remember with
yes,
Amor
yes.
played as well. Yeah.
And the funny things, like in Turkish scene, a lot of people calls me sex flood, and where it comes from, it was Sangal Esport X Flood. So when we play ESL Challenger Turkish, like Turkish
Right.
Turkish ESL, like there was like my name was Sangal S Esports CSE X Flood. So it was like sex flood, basically.
I
So it
remember
continued till here.
Henry G said the story on broadcast just a couple days ago, by the way, that you met him and Neo in the green room or whatever, and you
Yeah,
told them that
yeah.
they should call you sex flout, and I thought surely he's just taking the piss at them. There's no way
I mean,
there's
it
some
was.
logic at it.
I mean, no, no, no. I don't like to call like okay, like you guys can just call me sometimes like rarely sex blood, but I don't like to be sex blood every time. I mix a lot, guys.
Okay, yeah, you're a sex flout only on the weekends, and then during the week you're
Yeah,
just X
maybe
flout.
maybe if there's some crazy plays,
Yeah,
like if I
yeah.
do some crazy plays.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Back to the Turkish scene though. It's interesting that you say the Turkish scene is not in a really good state right now, but you still have a lot of organizations that are investing in it. The thing is, when you were growing up, I don't think that was the case, right? Because that was a little bit before Eternal Fire. Sango was around ish, but it was just getting into it. Nine is another one, I guess, that for a lot of people that don't know actually is a Turkish organization as well, right? Even though they had a.
No,
Is it?
no, nine is Polish. It should be
Is it really
Swedish. No, no,
Polish?
it's Swedish. It's Swedish. Sorry, sorry, it's Swedish. The owners are Swedish.
Swedish. Okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they are. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I think I remember the Turkish team of nine, and maybe that's why I'm getting a little bit confused here.
yeah,
But
yeah.
how was it for you? Bottom line is there was still some organizations, but when you were breaking through the scene, so to speak, there wasn't that many opportunities. So how was it from your perspective, the way for a young Turkish player to break through and find some stability? Because you said you had to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
How was that entire experience for you? Like
Like
before Eternal Fire and before Nine?
yeah, yeah. Right now, the ecosystem overall on like esports, it's not based in Counter Strike. It's better in Turkey.
Yeah.
Like even if you are 17, 18, you can get some money. Like of course, it's not a big money, but it's gonna give you motivation and it's gonna
Hmm.
show you okay, like I can earn a bit money here. Then it helps you to maybe continue 1 or 2 more year.
Okay.
So like, but that time it was like nearly impossible to get anything till maybe you are tier two, tier five. I mean, sorry, tier two, tier three,
Sure.
and like everyone like maybe there was a bit more academy teams, which gives you because right now I think there is like every academy team is started to shut down, right? If I'm not wrong, and there is no academy leagues
Most of
anymore.
them. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but that times, uh, I mean, like it was a bit hard to focus. I mean, I like to play Counter Strike, but the hard part was dreaming about good things because okay,
Okay.
you play Counter Strike and we enjoy it, we like it, but like what was the percentage of okay, I can go pro on this in this country, you know? Because
Sure.
also like that time, okay, of course, XANTARES and woxic was playing in Europe. That was also giving me the motivation and inspiration that time. Like right now, how I said, like maybe Aurora and me giving inspiration to young
Yeah.
players, but that time it was XANTARES and woxic. But also when we are playing, like we were not seeing of money. Like we were not getting any money. Maybe if you are like if we were grinding from ECA open to main to advanced, so we were trying to go step by step, and everyone like we did. I think we were very close to go MDL, which is ESL Pro League right
Yeah.
now. So,
It's no
so
AMDI was Challenger.
yeah, challenger maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
true. So like we were very close to it, but the thing, the worst thing was like there is no like there was only two player
Mm-hmm.
as I said, there were only two players in the scene
Yeah.
who has experience, but it was very impossible to contact with them, which is Antares and Voxic. So like you were your own in the scene. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't get help from the people, you don't get directions from people. You just play and try to be something, you know. So
Okay.
that is, I think, what we did good, very good, because like without any help, without any direction,
Mm-hmm.
we tried to be like players, like maybe tier 5, but doesn't matter. And like like when I remember still the first day of my HLTV game, you know. So I said, okay, like we are starting doing something right now. So like it was about the believing things and not like rely on the money.
Okay.
So like there was some steps for me in my career like when I get the first step, I was saying, okay, like right now, I'm more closer to my dream or my goal, whatever. Then step by step, step by step, and now, like not now, but maybe a little bit before. Like I said, okay, like this job can be my life changer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can really stick on this game. I don't need to think about real life things, you know. I can be professional player in this game. But yeah, like as I said, in this time it was very hard because there was no team in Turkey that can invest on you, and even if they invest on you, like they can get nothing, you know, like no sponsors, no tournaments in Turkey. So it was a little bit like survival mode, I would say, and I think it's still a little bit hard. But
Mm-hmm.
at least, as I said, like people can, for example, if someone writes me from the scene, like let's say he's 16 years old player, 17 years old player, then I will try to help with him or I will try to chat with him. You know, I think which is good. But in my time, it was a little bit harder.
Okay, okay. It was a little bit harder. You were still able to make things work for you in a way. I guess FPL played a big part in you being introduced to the scene as well, right? You did a lot of grinding in there to get a little bit more known internationally.
Yeah, like as I said, also FPLC. Like I started my perfect with FPSC because like FPSC was also like as I said it was a step for me because it was helping. Maybe I was not earning a lot of prize pool
Yeah.
in the FPSC, but like when I see players going FPL through FPSC, and I was thinking I fuck this guy and he's playing in FPL, so I have also a chance to do it, you know. Then that was the motivation. That was the like
Yeah.
reason of how can I stick this game? How can I stick in my dreams? And with time, with the work I did, it worked out.
You know what's the interesting thing is before you joined Eternal Fire, you played on the Gorillas. That was a
Yeah,
really interesting project for me because for the people that have forgotten, you played with Flushy, you played with Sunny, you played with Sergey, and we're talking Sergey, who was regarded as the biggest talent in the Finnish scene, big brother of GymFat as well.
I
Uh,
mean maybe in the whole scene he was one of the youngest. Like
yeah,
he
yeah,
was the
yeah.
best young
He was
player.
a prodigy. He was 17 years old. He was insane. And of course, Nato Safex was on that team as well. Was that a team that you got into thanks to FPL? And how was how was the entire experience there? Because it felt like that was one of those mixes type, you know, Titans with MSL as well and Oscar and all of those teams. Did it feel a little bit weird on the inside?
I mean, the funny thing about life is like when you get good place, like when you, for example, like okay, I qualified for FPL. I was thinking, okay, like I am in the position that I was dreaming, but you don't think about what is next or what is coming next.
Okay.
Like I was not expecting I will get a lot of team offers when I joined FPL instantly. Like maybe I need to prove myself, then yes. But so like when I was in FPL, when I qualified everything. So we had to like wait maybe 3 to 6 months.
Sorry, can you
You
start
know,
I was an FPL and then because my headset cut off real quick.
okay. When I was in FPL, Eternal Fire was in building process.
Okay.
So like we had to wait, like some stuff was searching, but not everything. So we had to like wait like maybe 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So meanwhile, like I was part of Eternal Fire before they created with Issa, like they built the team with Issa. But then while we were waiting, my like my mindset is changed. So I was thinking like I think it's like I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It was an experience because like if you don't do mistakes in real life, you don't get experience. You know, if everything goes good, then you know when you struggle, you will
Sure.
not know you will not know the
You won't know
how you
how to
fix it.
deal with difficult
Yes,
things. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So like that time, I did a very like tough and very hard decision. I said, okay, instead of playing in Eternal Fire, yes, like it's very good. You know, XANTARES is woxic
Okay.
in this side, and I will have a lot of like followers. I will get a lot of attention. Instead of said, I said like my goal in the future is playing in international team. So if I go Eternal Fire, let's say minimum I will play 2 years there if I don't fuck up then
Okay.
but probably it will not help my goal end of the day. Like of course it will right now when I think because you get a lot of experience from us with Antares and Voxic. But I was thinking more building my path from international roster,
Mm-hmm.
so I can improve my English and go from that path. So I said let's go Gorillas, so I can get same experience from them. They have Flashshot, they have Stargate, they have Sunny,
Mm-hmm.
they have like very good roster, so I can get a lot of experience from that players. But the thing is, when I joined there, I also see for the first time like I like my purpose is not being disrespectful, but like when people are getting older, like you don't see the same motivation. Like maybe they were very motivated when they were young,
Sure.
so you could see their like prime time. But when they are like let's say 30, then like you don't see same passionate from them. And when if you are a young player, I was 17 or 18 if I'm not wrong. So like if you are very motivated, you want to work a lot, you want to succeed, but the other part of the team is already succeed a lot. They earned a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
so they're not eager anymore. They're not hungry anymore. So that was like
A red
not
flag. Yeah.
matching good. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
not matching good. So like
What about Sergey though? Because Sergey was about your age, right? He already
yeah.
obviously that's after his time on ends, but what was it weird seeing? Like, did it feel like he just didn't want to play Counter Strike anymore? Because that was right before he decided to step down, right?
eh, like when I play with Stargate, like I still think the same. Like he has one of the best mechanics I ever seen.
Okay.
And but the thing is, like the Counter Strike, like playing Counter Strike or being a good Counter Strike player is not about only mechanics. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need to be talking very good. You need to be, uh, like think good. Like for example, if there's a problem in your team, you need to be able to think about it. Even if it, like, let's say we playing Inferno,
Yeah.
and we have problem on B. You are pit player. Like I'm just giving an example right now.
Yeah.
Like even if it's not your side,
You
you
can
need to
still
be
give
able to think
ideas.
about.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, let's try this. Guys, what about like you can send maybe some video, guys. Like take this setup,
Okay.
whatever. So like this is one example. Like second example is. Um, like communication, like even if your mechanics is very good, like after one part if you want to be top tier player, like your communication need to be very good. That's
Mm-hmm.
why like Nico, Simple, like Zaiwu is very good players. Like they are just not just killing enemies, they are also directing the team, right?
Yeah.
So like I didn't see this in Sargej, because like he was very lacking on communication. Like
Okay.
he was just like
He
he was
was he
rotate
was
he was
Finnish. He was pretty much
he was
Finnish. Yeah.
Yes, he was playing rotation positions, but his offering is like what was very bad. So some point maybe he had to play anchor because he was silent guy. Because silent players are more like born to play anchor, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
because they don't need to talk much,
Yeah. You're not gonna put the
But if
most silent guy on the
yeah,
team to play short on Mirage, for example.
yeah, but if you're a rotation player, you need to be vocal. Like
Yeah.
you need to be able to do prep plan, or like you are the most vocal player in the team. Like you
Yeah.
will give the directions to A and B.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not talking, it's gonna make a problem. But yeah, in general, like as I said, when I joined, like I would say I didn't regret,
Okay.
but it was a like lifetime, lifetime experience that I could learn, because if I don't learn when I was in 18, maybe right now I am 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I get a team offer, okay, like this team is the like. Also crazy was like there was a organization behind it, so I was contract player.
Yeah.
So like, but I right now I will not think about like player names, because when you are in server, not names are playing. Like you are playing,
Mm-hmm.
like your personality, your character is playing. So if your personality is not passionate, or if your personality is not, willing to do something or willing to
Yeah.
win tournaments, then like it doesn't mean. I mean, it doesn't matter if you are Nico, if you are simple. Like also we can see it from simple. Like I don't want to disrespect him, but like
Mm-hmm.
right now Nico is still doing his job very good, right? He's top in the scene, but simple probably he had some, like focus
What
problem.
do you
Maybe
think
he's not
about Simple and
angry
Face?
anymore.
What do you think about Simple and Face?
I mean, if we can see the simple that he was full hungry in this game, and he was full focus, destroying mode. Maybe he can do like he can hit a lot damage into the scene.
Okay.
But if it's a simple, a bit uh, inconsistent, that wants to play Counter Strike, but next day he wants to drink, it won't work.
Okay, okay, that's a valid argument. Then you decide to go into Eternal Fire, though. So talk to me a little bit about that, because you said obviously you didn't see the same amount of motivation. Was there was that did that actually change your, I guess, perception of whether you wanted to play with Turkish players or you wanted to stick internationally? Because you did join right after the Gorillas.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I said like, okay, I did a bad decision. Like I
Okay.
was thinking getting a lot of experience from European players, because they played maybe like, let's say in that time, like Sunny and Splash, I mean, probably they played like 29 out of 30 tournaments in the year, right? Like they were going every event, like tier
Okay.
one event, Flash and Sunny. They were playing a lot of Counter
Mm-hmm.
Strike. They were in top. I was thinking like I can get a lot of experience, but I didn't. Then I think like, okay, uh, Eternal Fire had also a problem that time. They had language barrier with Isa, because they were speaking in English, and they said, okay, like we need to build a Turkish core, Turkish team. Then they said like, how is it going on your side? I said like, I'm not very happy though. So we tried to figure it out. Then I joined Eternal Fire.
How was the initial dynamic? Because I think initially when you joined, woxic was in game leading, right? That was before.
Yes,
That was
yes,
before major, and it was you, woxic, xantares, Amor, and Calyx. Correct me if I'm wrong.
yes, yes, true.
How was the conversations when you were going into the team? The first thing I want to ask you is about your place on the team, because before, and for a lot of people, that is an interesting topic. You were a support player. You were a
Yes.
lurk. You were the guy on the other side of the map. You were the guy anchoring bomb sites and whatever. Was that something that you always were before Eternal Fire, or this is something that you did because you had Emor and Xantares on the team and they're
Yeah.
both really aggressive and you had to fill in those I like calling them janitor roles on the team.
I was hard anchor in my whole career
Okay.
till Eternal Fire, and I would say till Sangal, because like in Eternal Fire, I was still playing in my main position. Like I was holding behind Monster when we are T-side overpass.
Yeah.
If you are playing Mirage, I was maybe A lurk or B lurk. So I was playing like all the
You were
top
mid
positions.
on T side vertigo. That's why I remember. Every time they
Yes,
played A, you were on middle.
yes,
I remember that.
yes. I was.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, like I like that position, especially with my old team, like Boca Boston at 9. We had
Mm-hmm.
like Turkish team with
Yeah.
my friends. We were in same age kinda. So like that team, I was having a lot of fun with my role. Like I was clutching a lot, I was lurking a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever. But now in Eternal Fire, with time, especially end of it, I was like, maybe probably it's not about like the Eternal Fire.
Mm-hmm.
They triggered me in this, but probably in my lifestyle. Like I was anti-social person in my life, uh, because like I was the silent guy in the school. So like my life was a little bit like antisocial and silent, but with time I got more confident in life. I was more speaking in real life and game. Then I said like this role, like I had problems with patient. Like I couldn't hold the positions if I
Okay.
am behind monster. If I like in my old team, like Turkish team, I was waiting behind monster maybe till like 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
But at an fire, I was getting like, I was getting some problems when I'm getting waiting till one. Well, I started my HDHD started.
Okay.
So I had some problems. Like I was leaving my position, or I was going trying to go to the smoke and kill something, you know.
Yeah.
So like when I left Eternal Fire, I changed my role, and I was thinking this is the correct move. But in Eternal Fire, I think my place was very important
Mm-hmm.
because like yeah, like, I mean, I am a sacrificing guy. Like in real life, I sacrifice a lot for Counter Strike, but also in game. Like if someone needs something, or if my team needs something, I will sacrifice most of the time. I mean, at least that time I was sacrificing a lot. Like if Xantares needs AK and he has like Deagle or Galil, then I will say like, I mean, let's trade, you know, because I know Xantares is gonna put a lot of impact in the round,
Yeah.
more than me. Or let's say Xantares needs a hero Galil in an eco round, then I'm saying like just take Galil, you know, I will buy Deagle next round, make them
Yeah.
next round. And you know, I think it was working out very good, because like anyway, I was not the like, and that time, like when I see back, when I check how I was playing, like I was a bit pussy, a lurker, so I was not taking initiative. I
Okay.
was just like a little bit like inactive lurk, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So which is I think you don't like, you shouldn't have in right now in Counter Strike.
I mean,
You need
nowadays the
like,
meta is aggressive lurks, right? The aggressive
yes,
lurks are the ones
exactly,
that are valued the
exactly.
most.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why like I was able to sacrifice everything because I know like I am not very useful in the team. Like if it's a clutch situation, or if it's a like, let's say I need to lurk, then yes, I will take it. But I was not creating the opportunity. If there's opportunity, I was putting a very good effort on it.
Sure.
But like, so like in that team, I was feeling like I'm very good fit, and I think we worked like maybe 1.5 year together.
Mm-hmm.
woxic was IGL, and you know, like we were trying to
What do you think
work things
about
out.
woxic as an IGO? Because it was his first time as well, right? Wasn't it?
I think yeah, it was his first time. But he said like when we joined the team, when we are in the rebuilding process, that I said like before Gorillas, he was telling like he already wanted to be IGL before, like when he worked with Carrigan. So it was one of his dreams, or you know, he wants to try at least. I wouldn't say dream, but he said like he wants to try it one day. So it was that time, and I think he was not doing it very bad. But the thing is, as a players, we had to help him a lot because, like Emor, me, and colleagues is like that time beginning of the team.
Okay.
I will say we were not taking a lot of initiative and helping him with the calls because right now, I'm playing room maker and I'm helping to my IGL a lot,
Mm-hmm.
or AVP player is helping a lot to our IGL. So there is like 2 or 3 guy who is actively trying to help the IGL in the round.
Yeah.
Okay, they have no smokes left. Let's fake here and like let's sit here, you know. So
Yeah.
like someone can give that call, even like he's not shot caller. But
Mm-hmm.
in that team, like we were strangling on this, so that there was a lot of pressure on woxic, and maybe only there was only one guy who is helping woxic was XANTARES. But you know, so it was putting a lot of pressure on woxic, and I think IGLing work is very hard. Like you need to sacrifice from your aim, you need to sacrifice from your aim power a bit, and you know, work on demos like watching teams,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you started your IGLing for the first time. You know, the first years is very hard in my opinion, or first months. But woxic was like star AVP, like James is not star AVP, right?
Sure.
So he's like more hybrid. Like okay, sometimes he has impact, but mostly he's more like leader. But woxic is more star player AVP.
Do you feel
So
like that
like
harmed the team in some ways? Because when you are a star oper and you're an in-game leader, sometimes if you are relying on your individual skill, obviously if he has a good game, the entire team is going to have a good game because the calling is going to be going well. Was there those moments where he would struggle individually and the team would struggle and you guys just would find yourselves in a tough spot?
like you mean when he was IGL or in general?
Yeah, when he was IGL, when he was IGL.
Yeah, of course, because like he had to like as I said, if your team is not getting initiative, if your teammates are not talking a lot, then you need to talk more for them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come here, do put this utility when I say you, like, you know, you need to do a lot of micros
Yeah.
when if you have like passive players. So he had to like a lot, like he was most of the time talking, like yelling about, guys, I'm focusing on calling and I can't shoot, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why we had like some parts we were trying to change IGL, or we are looking for IGL role. And I think after woxic, like Emor was IGLing because of that, because woxic was not comfortable after a point.
Okay. And final thing on, well, I guess it's not the final thing because there's a lot of shit that happened with Eternal Fire. Let's be blunt about it. Um, Talk to me about the benching situations because obviously things with woxic as an IGL didn't work out and Major joined, and I'm gonna ask about that in a bit. But You personally played on Eternal Fire for 3 months, for 2 months, sorry. Then you got benched. Then you played again. Then you got benched. Then you played again, and then you got benched for the final time. But you weren't the only one. There was changes
Yeah.
happening every 2 or 3 months. Major himself got benched a couple times. What was going on the team? Like, what the hell happened there?
I mean, in general, not only Nathan and Fire. I'm a bit offensive player, like an offensive person, I will say. Like I will, if there's a problem, instead of I say yes, okay,
You're
I would like
blunt.
to talk
You're
about
blunt and
it.
honest
Yeah,
about. Okay,
exactly. I
sure,
would like to talk about if there's a problem. If someone is saying you did a mistake, or if someone is saying yes, you have problems, then I don't say yes, okay. Then I would like to talk about it. Like it's not about you are right, I am right. It's like okay, you understand my POV, like let's say he say like someone says Yasin, like you are overpicking here, then I would say I was thinking like
okay.
enemy
You
is
want to
coming
get to
from
the
here.
bottom of it. You want to have a conversation about
Exactly,
it. Sure.
exactly. And I would like to see, like, even if I'm wrong in that conversation, I would like to take the experience from other people so they explain me. Yes, yes, like I can understand your point, but let's say you shouldn't think about this because this
Sure.
happened. So they like basically they teach me the game when we are talking about this.
Hmm.
But it was more like when I do this, people were getting me wrong, and maybe they were right. I don't know. So we were getting a lot of fights, or let's say conversations
Arguments.
about
Yeah.
it, like arguments. So like I knew like uh, I would be the first guy probably getting kicked mostly, but like the problem is like only one bench I was very surprised was when we qualified for the major
Hmm.
Antwerp, like we played major, then we were preparing for Rio major. There was like 1 or 2 months left. Then I got benched, and they take Pazant major.
Yeah.
And why I was surprised was because they were playing Valorant like 1 month ago,
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I mean, and they were playing Valorant for maybe
Yeah.
1 or 2 year. So like I was full surprised because like even though if someone does that move in tier 1, tier 2, like I would say like what is the logic? Because that guys was playing Valorant, let's say, for 2 years, so they will be not ready for Counter Strike.
Hmm.
So it was very surprising. By other ones, I'm not sure like if they were right or not. Like and like for me, it was also a good experience, because I would say I didn't change myself,
Hmm.
like because I was getting a lot of bench. Maybe I need to talk a bit kindly with people, but like at least I can do risk assessment. If I talk like that,
Sure.
what can happen? I am calculating it better now.
Sure, sure. Okay, and last thing on Eternal Fire, because this is one of the most discussed topics. And by the way, willingly, I am not talking about XANTARES because we all know that he's fucking insane. And you're probably gonna say he's the best Turkish player ever, and you wouldn't be wrong. He is one of the best rifles in the game, after all. But
Yeah.
in general, outside of Turkey, talk to me a little bit about Major as an in-game leader. What do you think about him? Because it felt like since he joined, Eternal Fire started going up and up and up and up, and now obviously our Aurora and are a really dangerous team. And the start of the year, especially, was really good for them. So, what,
I
what do
mean,
you what do you make of him as an in-game leader?
with Major, I didn't spend a lot of time. I think we played like together for 5 months, if I'm not wrong. I may
Yeah,
be
yeah.
wrong.
You played a
But I
couple.
didn't
No, you
spend.
played a couple
Yes,
months between your second and your third benching.
maybe fourth, fifth. So yes, like I played like I think 2 or 3 events with him.
Okay.
So I think that time like right now he's better IGL and leader.
Okay.
So that time and right now, like if you compare, there's a big difference between his low and that time. So like I would say that time. Um, Like I didn't play with a lot of IGLs in my life. I played with one like side rakes
Mm-hmm.
that was in 9 Boca Baston time. I played with, but I mean I will talk about only main IGLs. So I'm not putting woxic as IGL, because it was also
Sure.
a short time.
Are we counting
So
Flush in? Was he calling on the gorillas?
no, I was calling more than him that time.
You were calling more than Flush on the gorilla. That's crazy.
I mean that's the problem. So
And
when
that
we
is why you said you're still the quiet guy, by the way. You're still the shy guy in school, and you're calling in the team with
yes
Flusha, Sunny, and Sergey
yes
and NATO
yes
Suffix.
so that kind of things maybe triggered me to talk more, because like we
Okay,
were playing our pesty side and Flasha was playing B-Lurk.
okay,
And in WhatsApp group, I was trying to explain why Flasha shouldn't play B-Lurk if he's IGL.
okay.
He needs to play maybe connector. He needs to maybe play a rumor,
Yeah.
because he can see the map more. So like I was writing every day, every day, every day, but we were not changing it. So
So
after a
you
time,
decided I'll just start calling.
No, I mean I was not calling, but I was.
So, I
Uh,
mean, you weren't technically the IGL, but you were calling.
I mean, Sunny was more talking
Okay,
more than
okay,
me, but I mean,
okay,
yeah. But basically, like what I mean is he was not IGLing. That's
okay,
like he
okay.
was not main IGL.
We're not gonna
Then
we're not here to talk about Fletcher. Let's get back to the major conversation.
yeah, major. Like as I said, he's more like he's good reader,
Okay,
and I think right now he's giving a lot of space to players because my time it was a bit hard to take initiative in my position because there was like already like maybe two or three active players including him. Like he's
sure.
a that my time he was more room like playmaker IGL like
Okay.
Apex, taking more risk, like big risk, big reward style.
Mhm.
So then he was active player one, and Xantares was a very active player is second, and woxic is also after leaving IGL position he was very active player. So we had like three active IGLs, and in Counter Strike, like CSGO, I mean, like you don't need five active players. Like you need maybe two or three is enough, and you need like two deadlurk or two guy
Yeah.
who can do the bad job, like dirty job. Then but right now, I think he's more open to give more initiative to players because I can see like Ricardi and Jota is getting a lot of initiative, and I think he trusts young players more right now.
Mhm.
Because in my time, like we had conversation with him always like I need to learn Counter Strike more, like better,
Mhm.
faster, and which is he was right, I think. But that's why like he was not trusting me in game, like taking initiative things. So, but right now, I think I think he's one of the best ideas in the scene. Like I
Mhm.
wouldn't put him top three, but probably he can go like top four or top five.
Okay.
Because not like and like what I would say, maybe in different scenario, like he has a very good individual players,
Mhm.
So whoever you put, maybe he can like it's gonna be good IGL, it's gonna be good team. But I don't think like this because like when you have Zantares, when you have that kind of aggressive players, it's very hard to control.
Okay.
Like if you have like three or four, like I'm putting major
Mhm.
outside of active players. Like if you have Jota, if you have Vikati, if you have woxic and Zantares, like four animal players, like active players, that it's very hard to control them. I
Yeah.
think he's doing that job very good. So that's why I can put him maybe top four, top five.
Okay.
But as I said, like I didn't work with him a lot. But the thing I know, like I saw he's doing very good. Like if you have meeting at 8 a.m., let's say we start practice at 8 a.m. Maybe he wakes up like 6 a.m. and he
Sure.
prepares videos for theory. Like normally, what happens? Like if you are starting 8 a.m. theory, then your IGL comes maybe a little bit earlier. But anyway, you start theory with him. But Major was preparing videos for everyone. Yasin, you need to put this smoke in this, so we are not wasting time in theory.
Okay.
So he prepares like 5 minutes videos for everyone, so we are saving time in theory. So it was very
Nice.
good. Like he was putting a lot of heart on it.
Okay, okay, that is good. That is good. And the final thing, because we're gonna do that in two episodes, by the way. I just noticed because this is already 36 minutes. We're gonna do that in two parts.
Yeah,
The final thing I wanna ask you about Eternal Fire, because I had a look through a Turkish interview that you did around a year ago, and in there, and obviously this could be lost in translation because I don't speak Turkish fluently, although I can swear, as of course this is the first thing that you learn in every language. The subtitles told me that you said that your time on Eternal Fire back then you felt like harmed your well-being, motivation, and just in general your mental state at the time. Was that the case?
yeah. I mean, I think that kind of national teams, like I would say all South, like you could see like you can see like if they're losing a map, like you can see like bad body language,
Yeah.
like Gutierrez was screaming, maybe he was screaming to his player, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Hey, maybe bad words, whatever." I think that kind of teams mentally you need to be very strong because in international team, the atmosphere is more fine because like nobody's from same country.
Mm-hmm.
Like international team chemistry is different. But if you are in national team, like for example Russian teams, I can say, like you can say like you can compare them with international team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to accept some stuff. So that time, yes, like I was young, that's why I was overwhelmed. Maybe that team conversations, like maybe sometimes it was a bit aggressive. Then that was unmotivating me end of the day instead of giving inspiration and motivating, playing with good players. Maybe it was the opposite. But yeah, like what I say is like that kind of teams when you play, you need to be very strong mentally. But like right now, I feel mentally very strong. But when you are 18, 19, it's very hard because it's your first professional team, right?
Okay.
And I think there's some like examples that we saw also, like nipple on
On
Navi.
Navi.
Like I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
yeah, like you know, like probably if nipple playing a top tier team when he was 18 in an
Hmm.
international team, then probably he would get more out of it with that team. But from Navi, I think like he had maybe same like we are very similar with him. I think like we played in main team
Yeah.
and we got benched. Then now he changed position. Then he's playing 120, 125.
You know what's
So
the
you know
thing?
like
You know what's the thing? He changed position on Navi because with MPO, it was
yeah,
he was IGL and entry on Navi Junior. Then he went
yeah,
into Navi. They
yeah.
fucked him up, and then he went to Bait and started playing what he was supposed to be playing, and now he's good again. Shocking.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think like it was also maybe same situation with him, you know, like he was
Sure.
maybe 17-ish, I
Yeah,
think.
he was 17.
So,
Yeah, it's just
and
what we're saying is it was just too early, right?
yeah, and we could see like from the cameras, like Simple was yelling at him at some points, you know, which was
Yeah,
not like you will get nothing out of it, like if your player is 17 or 18,
yeah,
because you will get you he will not learn. Like I think that kind of like yellings are good at some point, you know, like but you need to be able to understand it. But if your guy is 17 years old,
yeah,
he will just get nothing.
yeah. I get your point. Okay. Uh, that is really good to put a final chapter on Eternal Fire. In that first part of the conversation. Second part, we're gonna still do it now, but I'm gonna do it in two separate videos. We're gonna talk about Sango and Heroic. We're gonna get into the good stuff. So yeah, to everyone, it's coming out soon.